House Chatter Podcast. For the fans, by the fans. For the love of the game.
Happy Wednesday. Welcome back to Chop House Chatter. I'm Jackson.
And I am Thomas. And as you can tell, we are not the happiest of fans as of right now. It has been a rough start to the season, Jackson. It has been rough.
Yeah, can we check the calendar? Did the calendar flip? Is it still 2024? Because
it feels like it. Like everything that can go bad is going bad for the Braves. We just can't catch a break right now, man.
no. I mean, I guess we should start with the big one, getting swept in San Diego. Going scoreless.
I was excited about the series. Unfortunately, did not go our way in the wins and losses column, but those first three games were very competitive games to me. We were in every single game, weren't we?
Yeah. I mean, only one hit with runner in scoring position so far.
I mean, that's 2024 Braves right there. That's
yeah,
per the norm right now.
I thought the Padres played really well.
Yeah,
that series. They got a lot of, I hate to be that guy. Let's talk about the luck in this series.
You don't have to be the guy just to point out the obvious. Point out the facts. We're talking about facts right now.
Yeah. The Padres got a lot of little squeakers for runs. I mean, obviously the Braves didn't execute with runners in scoring position, but there were a couple double plays where it was like, that first and second where it's the weak line drive and Cronenworth lets it drop. It's like, damned if you run, damned if you don't.
I'm still stuck with the Fernando Tatis Jr. check swing double, where he just squeaks it down the first base line and just ends up on second base. Like that is the type of luck that we have had for the last 365 days.
Yeah, and then scores on soft contact, right?
I mean, I'm not going to take anything away from the Padres. They played great. They had a great bullpen. They had a great series. But man,
it looked like straight up voodoo, man. From every ball that Drake Baldwin put in the play.
And he hit the ball hard all series.
Yeah, he hit the ball really hard all series. I mean, the Padres hit the ball hard in some situations, but it always seemed like the soft contact was the backbreaker.
Yeah.
They get the hard contact to get everyone on, and then the little dinky 60-mile-an-hour single, and it's like, wow, okay. But, Ozzie Albies missing that 3-run home run in game one by feet.
How many times did they rob a home run from us?
It was like
three times?
Three.
That would have resulted in, 5-6 run swing?
Yeah. The Aaron Bummer kick double. I had never seen that happen in a major league game before. I don't think I'll ever see that happen ever again. Because, Thomas, let me tell you, I've only ever seen that happen in MLB The Show. When you hit a line drive off the pitcher and it flies into the dugout. And you're like, that's really funny because that would never happen in real life.
I feel like that happened on like the Bad News Bears at some point. That seems like per the norm for the Bad News Bears.
Probably.
Yeah. But yeah, let's keep going because it was more to the week of the Braves than just the unlucky San Diego series, unfortunately.
Oh, and then they didn't score for 28 innings or whatever. Michael Harris hitting that, Chris Paul hits the 3 down by 50 points or whatever.
Yeah.
Insert that meme in the 8th inning against the Dodgers off Tanner Scott of all pitchers. If all the Dodgers bullpen pitchers score a run off Tanner Scott, okay, sure.
It was going to be a tough week regardless. We're starting the season with 7 games against postseason teams, and they're tough teams. San Diego Padres were arguably one of the better teams in the playoffs last year. And then, of course, the reigning World Series champions, the Los Angeles Dodgers. That's tough. That's tough to start the season like that.
Yeah. I wasn't going to do it on this podcast tonight. I was going to do it more on the one I do with Bill, but I have a bone to pick with schedule makers. Why did the Braves have to play 7 consecutive games on the West Coast to start the year? And the Phillies?
Yeah.
Well, you want to know what the Phillies schedules was, Thomas?
What was it?
They played Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
They were off in D.C. They played They were off Friday, played Saturday, Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
They played on Monday against the Rockies. Then they were off on Tuesday, and then they played again on Wednesday today and Thursday, and then they get the Dodgers in town. But why do they get the Nationals from Rockies to start, huh? In like 2 off days?
It's because Major League Baseball loves the Phillies. That's exactly why.
Yeah, well, I mean Bryce Harper. But
I'm just hoping that maybe as tough as this schedule is to start the season, it's going to be just as easy to end the season. So maybe, hey, if we're down by 7 games going into September, it won't be unheard of for us to like come back with that, right?
I mean, you texted me the other day. The only divisional games in September are 6 games against Washington.
Yeah.
Now, whether that's good or bad, you can decide. You can't beat up if you're trailing. You can't beat up on the guys in front of you. But you could also put it as they don't have a chance to directly make room.
Yeah.
Make breathing room. They have to, set the pace, so to say.
Yeah.
So, obviously Atlanta starting 0-7 would be the disaster start. Got to get 1 win here in LA.
Just sneak 1 out. That's all I'm asking. And I believe the Tuesday game, and we're recording right before the game starts, and Chris Sale's on the bump. That game is going to be the one that I think we need to try to sneak that one out.
I need the boys to show up angry.
Something. Have a little bit of fire.
They've looked lifeless since the second game of the season.
Yeah.
When they stopped scoring.
And if you look at the stats, and you're a top fan stats guy, they're pitching around Ozuna because they're going to have anybody else beat him. And he has more walks in the last 5 games than he did in the first month of last season. They are pitching around him completely, right?
Yeah. And part of that was, his protection has been, for the most part, Ozzie Albies and Michael Harris, who are free swingers. It's almost beneficial to put a guy out ahead of them sometimes because they might roll into a double play on the first pitch.
Mm-hmm.
The approaches look good at times. Other times it's, they're in a hitter's count. They just take a fastball groove right down the middle. They are taking a lot of balls. They're not chasing a lot. Problem is they're missing a lot in the zone, which was a big problem last year. It was something they didn't do when we saw them crush everyone in 2023. What was it, Thomas? If you threw a pitch over the plate, it was a home run.
Yeah. And they were attacking early in the count in 2023. Like they want that first pitch fastball. They're looking fastball early and they're crushing it.
Yeah.
And
all right, I don't know.
Let's move on. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Don't know what happened since then, but but you brought up the lineup and it's looking a lot different. Let's get the elephant, the albatross out of the way. Jurickson Profar getting suspended for PEDs was not on my bingo card.
That was not on anybody's bingo card. That was just, I thought it was an early April Fool's joke, but no, they sacked him. 80 games, not going to be eligible to come back until I believe the last day in June. But the thing that kills me, and something I didn't even realize, if you get hit with PEDs, you don't get to play in the postseason that season. So even if he comes back, helps us get back to the playoffs, we still have a hole in left field, just like we have right now.
Yeah, and I mean, it's certainly not going to make him popular with the Atlanta fans. No. Let me tell you, he hasn't played at home yet.
And he won't play at home until July.
Yeah, I don't want to be negative about the fan base. He's probably going to get booed.
I was watching on TikTok this week. There was a San Diego Padres fan that posted a video about how upset she was that one of their favorite players ends up leaving. And I started getting Jesse Chavez vibes where something happens. We're going to end up having to drop him, DFA him, trade him, and they're going to pick him up after the All-Star break. And doesn't that sound like Jesse Chavez?
I mean, yeah, it does. I mean, Chavez just got DFA'd again. I doubt someone will pick him up.
Now, was that official? Because I did see that on April Fool's Day.
The Braves posted it, that corporations don't tend to hop on the April Fool's train.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I made sure that the Braves announced that one, Thomas. So Zach Thompson is up from the minor leagues. But it could just be Chavez isn't ready. I mean, he ate 2 innings.
Yeah.
The first game of the Dodgers series. Gave up a home run to the first batter he faced. Not ideal. But, with the bats dead, didn't really matter.
We'll see him again at the trade deadline. So I'm not too worried about that one.
Yeah, he got DFA'd, so someone can try to pick him up on waivers. I doubt anyone will.
I don't think they would because he doesn't pitch well unless he's wearing Atlanta across his chest.
Yeah. I mean, they could try, but then he'll probably get DFA'd again. So
yeah. What is the update on Strider? When do you expect we will have our ace back on the rotation?
They're saying the end of April.
End of April. So we got another 3-4 weeks left without him. Is that necessary? Could he come back earlier?
I'd say don't rush him. You don't want him to get hurt again.
Yeah.
Obviously, his elbow condition with the bone spurs, getting the brace put in to clear out those bone spurs and strengthen his elbow. It wasn't full Tommy John.
Yeah.
So that's good, but you don't want to strain somebody's elbow coming back. Because I know Reynaldo Lopez is down. The bad news keeps piling on. Today, Tuesday, couldn't go a whole day. He might be done for the year. They're going to check it out. Go take a peek, put him under the knife. But I hope it's soon.
I hope so.
I hope it's only 3 weeks.
We are limping starting this season where we have, and I don't want to speak ill of him, but just the recent track record of Bryce Elder, who's going to be pitching on Wednesday against the Dodgers, it's not very good. It scares me where the Dodgers, they love Bryce Elder. They love hitting against Bryce Elder, and that just doesn't bode well for us.
Elder's problem is he's got to get guys to chase to get him out.
And Dodgers are not a chasing team.
Against a team like the Dodgers that don't chase, it doesn't happen.
You can't pitch them dirt. You can't pitch high. They're going to wait for their pitch.
But the stuff isn't good enough. Grant Holmes struggled a little bit of that last night.
Yeah.
He kind of labored through his start. His stuff wasn't the sharpest. His changeup looked pretty good.
But they weren't hitting the fastball, so they were just sitting on the changeup.
Yeah, that fastball wasn't great. He wasn't able to look at it. If he was able to look at his fastball better, maybe that start goes a little better. But it really boils down to, can we weather the storm with Bryce Elder's the 5? I don't know. You and I were talking before. Maybe Waldrop gets a look. Maybe somebody else from AAA.
Yeah.
And for all the armchair managers out there that say, oh, you could have signed Nick Pivetta, you could have done this. Nick Pivetta had a qualifying offer attached to him. A lot of these pitchers that they didn't sign had qualifying offers attached to them.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the Braves MO. With the core set the way it is, you cannot hand away high draft picks because those are the guys that get to the major leagues the fastest to contribute.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I know Elder's been working on his swing and miss, and it's gotten a lot better.
Maybe he could surprise us. I would love to be surprised.
Anything can happen in baseball, man. Phil Humber threw a perfect game. You're probably sitting there going, who the heck is Phil Humber? Yeah, exactly.
Sean Newcomb was one pitch away from a no-hitter just a few years ago. And what happened to Sean Newcomb?
Remember Fulte? Fulte almost threw a no-hitter one time.
Yeah.
It can happen, I've seen weirder things in baseball. Mm-hmm. So I guess the hope is, a win with Sale or Elder on the mound. You just need one.
Yeah.
Get at.
So we didn't do enough when it comes to starting pitching over the offseason, and now it's biting us. But thankfully, we did a lot when it comes to building up the outfield, where we just have a plethora of extra outfielders that can fill these gaps that we have, where Acuna, of course, is still out. We're down Profar now. So Brian De La Cruz, he's going to have to step it up. Kelenic is going to have to step it up. Michael Harris, God, I hope he can reach his potential and actually lead this team where he has the potential to be the best player on the team, but he just has not reached that point yet.
It's almost the whole lineup has something mental wrong with them. That's what it looks like. Approach wise, they look like they're hitting behind before they get in the box.
Yeah. So it might take somebody coming up just to shake things up. Maybe we go ahead and bring Verdugo up and let him just get ready on the big team. Maybe just a new face will spark something.
Yeah, and I think it's a varying approach. They traded for Stuart Fairchild from Cincinnati, who's a very good lefty killer, platoon outfielder. I expect we'll see a lot of him.
Will we
Uh,
just have a platoon situation in left and right field until we get Acuna back?
you might have to, you know.
Do what you have to do, but let's start getting some wins on the board. Let's do something. Do
Yeah,
we have any updates on Acuna yet?
they're saying end of May,
End of May. So
beginning of June.
Strider coming back end of April
I,
and
I think
Acuna.
I think Acuna's target is that Dodgers series at home,
I wouldn't be
which
upset with that.
which is unironically when the Dodgers are trying to bring Shohei Ohtani back to pitch for the first time.
I
They
hope we
say
shell them.
and they say that the NFL is scripted. The MLB is looking pretty scripted.
Yes. But hey, all the bad that has happened this first week, let's keep in mind the good. We are undefeated at home.
Undefeated at home. The bullpen has looked a lot better than people thought it would.
Outside of
After
Neris, who
outside of
I'm still confused at how he pitches high leverage game. What was that? We were up by 1 run, seventh inning of game one, gives
yeah,
that up, and then he's DFA 2 days later.
yeah. That's probably been the only baffling bullpen decision I've seen all season.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it was either Neris can hack it as a higher leverage guy or they didn't want him.
Yeah.
So better to figure that out. 3 games in the season than being a division race in the middle of August or a wild card race and be like, oh, this guy really stinks.
Yeah.
you know. So, but I've liked what I've seen from Diasbel Hernandez. He's been really good against righties. I saw a stat out there that righties have hit 105 as a whole against him. So expect him to be the Joe Jimenez
Mm-hmm.
kind of guy at the back end. Aaron Bummer's been unlucky. And please give Aaron Bummer more clean innings. Stop putting him in with runners on base. He's a ground ball pitcher. That doesn't work. If it's first and third, you do not want a ground ball.
No,
Most of the time. Most of the time, you do not.
that's a strikeout situation if I've ever seen one.
Yeah. Bummer can strike him out when his stuff's on, but he gets a lot of ground balls too. So, Bummers look good. Dylan Lee, aside from one pitch, has looked pretty good. So, and we haven't seen Raisel Iglesias yet, which surprises me that they didn't just throw him in one of those games in San Diego.
Just to throw something out, just to keep him warm.
Keep him warm, yeah. But the bullpen as a whole, it's been pretty solid. Jose Suarez only gave up 1 run over a couple innings, so
I was surprised about that one. I thought he was
expected-
going to be the problem child coming in.
And Yel de los Santos has, I think he's given up 1 or 2 runs over like a 4 or 5 inning sample. He's eaten some innings, so
Yeah.
the bullpen will get stronger as the season goes on. There's some arms in AAA. I think that the Braves will bring up, but I think the most important thing is, guys, they're only 0-5.
It's all good. We play 162 games for a reason.
Teams win 100 games before the 150 mark all the time.
Yes.
I think the most important thing is you cannot go over on the West Coast trip.
So let's go ahead and put this behind us. Let's bring them on home. We are back home on Friday. What does the next week of games look like for us, Jackson? I know we're home against Miami. What does that series look like?
I mean, rotation wise, I think Sale will probably pitch the finale of that game.
Yeah.
So, but then I think Philadelphia comes into town.
Yeah.
So I think
Philly
Miami
coming to town on Tuesday. We'll have Monday off.
Yeah, I think you need to get a win here in LA. Go out and do what you've done to the Marlins for the past, decade, which is beat the crap out of them.
So
Get the lineup going. The last couple of years, what has gotten the lineup go? What has gotten this team going? It's usually a series against the Marlins. Marcell Ozuna's 2023. He had one really good weekend against the Marlins, if you remember. So
I wouldn't be upset with getting, it was that 3 games against the Marlins, 3 games against Philadelphia. Let's try to get 4 to 5 wins out of that homestand.
I think if you can get a win in LA and do that, I think you're doing good. I mean, the Mets lost again today, so everyone's like, "Oh, you're going to be trailing the Phillies and the Mets by so many games." I don't think the Mets are as good as people think they are.
Yeah.
So yeah, even if you get the wild card spot, I think it's important. You look at it, they got the Phillies and then the Rays on the road, and then they go to Toronto, but then they play Minnesota, St. Louis.
I
They don't.
like the next few series. I'm
Yeah,
not I'm not
I mean Arizona on the road is a little tough, and then hitting the Coors is a little tough before they come back home to play the Dodgers at the beginning of May.
yeah.
But actually, that's when Acuna's supposed to be back at the beginning of May. That's
Okay.
what I was hearing. Uh,
So
but
yeah,
then
let's just get off of the West Coast for right now. Come back home, come back to the East Coast. Let's get a couple of wins on our belt, and we will shake off the off season and the spring training shivers that we have right now.
yeah, I mean this first half schedule looks very doable.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, it has been a rough first week, but baseball is played for 6 to 7 months for a reason. We don't have to panic right now. Don't have to hit the emergency button.
guys, remember the Nationals were 19-31 when they won this World Series. The Braves started 0-4 when they won the World Series. The Mets started 0-5 last year and they made the playoffs. They almost made the World Series. You know, so I understand that everyone was excited for baseball to be back, and it sucks to watch your team go up there and kind of just lay a goose egg. But this isn't a bad team.
No, we will be fine. And
they're playing
in today's postseason. You don't need to win 100 games to make the postseason.
No, and you're playing two of the better teams in the league,
and we've been competitive the whole time. It hasn't shown it on the records, but we have been competitive.
Yeah.
We can compete with these teams.
3 out of the 5 games have been close.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. At the end of the day, you can kind of I know it's the loser mentality, the moral victory. But in baseball, you play so many games, you kind of gotta take those moral victories.
Yeah,
you gotta take solace in the fact that you fought back maybe one night, burned a bullpen pitcher. It's all about taking it nice and slow.
And look on the bright side, we have not had a position player pitching for us yet, like the Western Braves have had.
I think the Angels won again today, funnily enough, so they're 4-2.
Well, there you go. Go have at it, Uncle Ron. Have at it, Ron Washington.
Yeah, we root for Braves West around here when they're not playing the Braves.
Yes.
So,
but yeah, we're gonna be fine. Nobody panic. It's gonna be okay. Any last words for us, Jackson?
When we're at the All-Star break, when the Braves are sitting right in the thick of it, we'll laugh. Be like, wow, the start really sucks.
Yes.
We'll be fine.
Look at all the players and let's just count Profar as a mid-season acquisition. We just picked him up at trade deadline.
Dude, I don't even want to think about Profar. I think the Braves might go out and make another move. Maybe look to upgrade shortstop.
Yeah.
All I know is RC is not playing every game. And that tells me the confidence is shot. Nick Allen's playing again tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a lot of confidence in Nick Allen, but
it's going to be a long season, and we're here for it. We're going to keep following it. We're going to have a good time.
Yeah, we're here, win or lose. If the Braves have a bad year, that's baseball, man.
I mean, I've been a Braves fan for a very long time, and that 2010s decade was a little rough until we got it was right when we got SunTrust Park and Truist Park. It was rough the last couple of years at Turner Field. So yeah, this is fine. We're still a much better team than that.
Yeah, this is nothing. And I want to remind people, the Giants won 3 World Series in 5 years. The 2 years they didn't win in between, they didn't even make the playoffs. So stuff happens, man.
Yeah.
It's just about taking the season as a whole. You just got to get in.
Yep.
Just got to get it.
All right. Let's end it how we always end it. Even though it's a bad week, chop on.
Chop on. It's April. Goodbye, March. Undefeated
in March.
We are undefeated in April as of recording. So giddy up,
Yes, sir. All right. Let's have a good one. You have a good night.
You too.